Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into something that's been really kind of blowing up lately. Spain's new digital nomad visa. You know, we've all heard about these countries, trying to attract all these remote workers. But Spain is doing things a little differently.
Yeah, they're not just opening the doors to everyone.
Right, and that's what I found so interesting in this ARY News article. It's this income requirement to qualify. $2,750 a month.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
That's not exactly chump change.
Yeah, it's definitely a step above what some other countries are asking for. It seems like Spain is looking for a certain type of digital nomad.
Yeah, not just anybody who can work remotely.
Right, someone who's maybe a little more established in their career, probably has a higher spending power.
Someone who's not just trying to, make their budget stretch as far as possible.
Exactly.
So think about it from Spain's perspective.
Well, yeah, they want people who are going to contribute to the economy, right?
Yeah.
Not just scrape by.
It's not just about filling empty apartments or something. They want people who will boost those local businesses, maybe even invest in the community.
Right, exactly. And that income requirement actually goes up even more if you want to bring your family along.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, $3,750 a month.
Hmm.
Again, it shows you that Spain is looking for financial stability in those visa applicants.
Okay, so you need to be earning a decent amount. What else did this article say is needed? I know it mentioned being a non-EU citizen and having remote work outside of Spain, which makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Those are like the fundamentals.
Yeah.
But there are some other requirements that kind of give us some more insight into what they're looking for.
Oh, like what?
Well, for example, they require you to have Spanish health insurance.
Okay.
So it's not just about making sure that you're covered if something happens. It's also about making sure that you're plugged into the Spanish healthcare system.
So they're encouraging integration then, instead of just having these nomads kind of operate in their own little bubble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing is they want to see your qualifications and experience. Like, do you have a university degree? A proven work history? Things like that.
Okay.
It seems like they're looking for skilled professionals.
Yeah.
People who are bringing something to the table.
Like building up this little talent pool.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, and for freelancers, you need to prove a professional relationship with a foreign company for at least 3 months.
Oh, wow. So you can't just say, I'm a freelance.
No, they want to see established work connections.
So it's about legitimacy, making sure people are genuinely working remotely.
Right.
Not just using this visa as a way to just relocate without a job lined up.
Exactly. And this is where it gets interesting for you, dear listener. Think about what this means for you if you were seriously considering this visa.
Yeah.
Are you at a point in your career where you meet these income requirements? Do you have the documents to prove your work history and qualifications? It's all about planning and being realistic about your eligibility.
It's tempting to get caught up in this idea of working from anywhere, but there's a lot more to it than just a change of scenery.
Absolutely. These requirements are definitely a reality check.
Okay, so we figured out that Spain is being pretty selective. But let's flip the script. Even if you can check all those boxes, is Spain really all it's cracked up to be?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
I mean, we can talk about sunshine and siestas all day, but I feel like there's got to be a catch. What are we missing?
Well, you're right. There are definitely some potential downsides to consider.
Lay it on me. What are the less glamorous parts of being a digital nomad in Spain?
Well, one thing that often gets overlooked is the language barrier.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you can probably get by with English in the touristy areas, but if you really want to immerse yourself in the culture,
Yeah.
Connect with the locals or even just navigate everyday life, you're going to need some Spanish.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a hurdle. You don't want to feel like a total outsider in your own temporary home.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the practical stuff,
Yeah.
Language is so tied to culture. You miss out on a lot of the nuance and the depth if you can't engage with people in their native tongue.
Yeah, it's not just about ordering tapas. It's about understanding the soul of the place.
Exactly. And while we're on the topic of cultural differences, Spain's relaxed pace of life, a double-edged sword.
Oh, how so?
I mean, the late-night dinners, the siestas, it's all part of the charm, right? But it can take some adjusting if you're coming from a more fast-paced, always-on work environment.
Right. You'd have to be pretty adaptable with your schedule then,
Yeah.
especially if you're working with people in different time zones.
Absolutely. Flexibility is key.
Yeah.
And not just with work, either. Think about finding an apartment, setting up a bank account, figuring out transportation. All those logistical hurdles can be tough when you're in a new country.
It's easy to forget about those practical considerations when you're caught up in the fantasy of working from a beach.
Exactly. And speaking of practicalities, we can't forget about the digital infrastructure.
Oh, yeah. That's important.
I mean, Spain has decent internet in the big cities. But if you're venturing off the beaten path, reliable Wi-Fi isn't always a guarantee.
So it goes back to that balance we were talking about before, right? Finding a place that offers the lifestyle you want, but also meets your work needs.
Right, it's about being realistic and understanding that the digital nomad dream isn't always picture perfect.
So we've talked about the potential downsides, but let's be real. There must be a reason why so many people are drawn to Spain. What are some of the undeniable perks?
Well, for starters, Spain is just a gorgeous country. You've got incredible beaches, vibrant cities full of history, breathtaking mountains. It's all there.
It sounds like something out of a travel magazine.
And it's not just about the scenery. Spain has a rich culture, amazing food, a welcoming atmosphere. There's a reason it's such a popular tourist destination. But as a digital nomad, you get to experience all of that on a deeper level. You're not just a tourist passing through.
You can really soak it all in and, find those hidden gems that most tourists miss.
Exactly. And let's not forget the cost of living. While it's not the cheapest country in Europe, Spain is still relatively affordable, especially compared to places like London or Paris.
So that $2,750 a month might actually go further than you think.
It might, and don't underestimate the value of the digital nomad community there. Spain has a ton of remote workers,
Oh, wow.
which can provide a sense of community networking opportunities, or even just someone to grab a coffee with who understands the lifestyle.
It's like a built-in support system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So while there are definitely some challenges to consider, there are also some pretty amazing perks to being a digital nomad in Spain. It's all about weighing those pros and cons and deciding if it's the right fit for you.
And hey, maybe if you're lucky enough to get that visa and you navigate all the hurdles, you might just find yourself sipping sangria on a sunny terrace, feeling like you found your place in the world.
Wouldn't that be nice? That's the dream, right? And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some of the broader implications of this whole digital nomad trend, what it means for the future of work and travel.
Okay, so we've talked about all the details of Spain's digital nomad visa, the requirements, the lifestyle, the good and the bad. But now I kind of want to zoom out a little. What does this whole digital nomad thing actually mean in the grand scheme of things?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. We're seeing like a fundamental change in how we think about work and where we do it. It's not just about individuals wanting a more flexible life. It's about countries changing their economies and how they interact with global talent.
So it's not just a fad, it's something much bigger.
Exactly. Countries like Spain, they're actively trying to get digital nomads to come there for a reason.
Right.
They see the economic benefits, the new skills and ideas that boost the local businesses.
It's like diversifying their economies beyond those traditional industries.
Exactly. And it's not just about the money either. Digital nomads bring a certain energy to their new communities. They encourage cultural exchange, challenge old ways of thinking, and it contribute to a more globalized world.
So it's this interesting mix of individual goals and national agendas.
Right. And it raises some important questions. How do we make sure that this influx of digital nomads benefits both the individuals and the host countries? How do we handle the potential strain on resources and infrastructure in those popular destinations? How do we create a sustainable and ethical approach to digital nomadism?
Those are some big questions. It feels like we're still figuring out the rules as we go.
Absolutely. This is all pretty new, and there are definitely going to be some bumps along the way. But the potential is huge. We're seeing the rise of a new type of global citizen, someone who goes beyond borders and reimagines what's possible with work and life.
It's exciting, but also a little scary.
And that brings us back to you, dear listener. Whether or not you personally want to become a digital nomad, this whole trend affects all of us. It's changing how we work, how we travel, how we connect with the world.
It definitely makes you think about the possibilities, right? If you're not tied down to one place, what does that mean for you? What dreams could you chase? What kind of life could you build?
It's not just about working from a beach. It's about asking yourself, what do I really want? And then figuring out how this new world of work and travel can help you get there. Maybe it's finally writing that book, starting that business, learning a new language, or just spending more time with the people you love. The possibilities are endless.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Spain's digital nomad visa, we want you to think beyond just the specifics. This is just one example of a much bigger trend that's changing the world as we know it.
And who knows, maybe someday soon you'll be a digital nomad yourself, exploring new places and creating your own adventure. Until then, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep dreaming big.
And that's our deep dive for today. As always, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.